certainly sort of fulfilling that particular role, right? We look at English now as a means of communication for different reasons. I mean, for education, for work, for betterment of some kind, right? And you know, I mean, this is a fact. I mean, you have to have your head buried in the sand not to realise that, yeah? Obviously, this is also as a result of advances in technology. So technology is enabled. People from Africa initially. When Britain invaded Mauritius, they beat the French in a battle back in the early 19th century. They beat the French were kicked out, the British came in, and they started to bring over people from India. My wife's family, they came originally from the south on the right, the southeast of India, the area of Tamil Nadu, which is now the area of Madras, right? So her grandparents on both sides were made to come over, and they were also employed in the sugar plantations. Now, of course, in the case of these people, first of all, of course, the idea that French was the dominant language, and later English was the dominant language, it made it necessary for the people who were not in control of the country to adopt, or try to adopt, their way of speaking. French was the language which initially was in vogue, and so what do we call it? A pidgin language. I think a pidgin is we talk of a pidgin as the language which is used for communication, right, with people who don't speak your language. Second generation, when the descendants are now beginning to hear this pidgin spoken, I think they call this the creolization process, when the people who are brought up hearing the language use it as their first language, right? So the French Creole spoken in Mauritius, they speak it, of course, as the language of the country now. But, of course, in education, English is the dominant language. So all educated Mauritians will speak English, right? Yeah, no, it's very
No,
useful.
but the children notice, obviously, but I let them hear.
Yeah.
Some of the differences.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah. Obviously, it's very difficult to expose your students to everything. Yeah. But what we have to get around is the idea that people don't only use a kind of RP or modified RP when they speak English. They use different forms. And maybe you'd think of, if you were to teach Spanish, at the same time you would be maybe commenting on certain dialectal usages. But, I mean, how often do you hear people saying, oh, don't go to Andalusia, you won't understand anything? Obviously, if your teacher spoke Andaluz, Spanish, you would understand everything. Maybe you would come here, you wouldn't understand anything, right? So it's, I mean, it's really just a question of the exposure you get.
So
it's obvious.
We can say keep stuck.
And think of other examples of Spanish words which are used.
Mosquito. Mosquito. Torpedo.
Patio.
Aficionado.
Torero.
Paella. Right, yeah.
In American is it corruption?
Okay. Anyway, obviously.
No, I mean the latter.
I think she felt taken aback, right? But we say the latter, not the last one. Obviously, the understanding.
Tomato, and my students say, no, it's tomato. But you can argue for a lot of time, you know. And in jail with 6 years old.
And they.
See, they are 6 years old.
And they're 6 years old, yeah. Oh dear.
And it's impossible to explain to
Might
them.
want to be like
No, she's right, you know, but I'm right as well. No. I like tomato.
Yeah, I provide those forms when I'm teaching say tomatoes, it's a lot of advertisement. If I know I just don't know, but
Yes,
for them to choose what to know.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So as long as I am aware,
Yes.
and just let them know.
Let them know. Yeah.
Instead of putting it in American.
That's right. That's right.